Hello guys, and welcome back to another video. Today, I'm going to talk about an anime that is Amoungly sus. If you don't know what I'm talking about, which there's a good chance you won't, it's a little bit on the older side in terms of water, 2019. For something that's obscure, those type of newer shows that don't get a lot of hype can sometimes fall under the radar. So today, I do want to bring out one of those gems, being Astra Lost in space. So, a synopsis for this show: there's 8 teenagers and one 10-year-old, don't ask, all going on a outer space field trip because that's just what the kids do in the future. You know, I thought it was fucking cool going to the fucking local park. These motherfuckers are going to Jupiter though, you know, they're doing crazy shit. That's just how it is. Apparently, this is a safe experience that just happens all the time. None of them are worried. They're just like, oh, going to space. Won't see my family for 5 days. Whoop-de-woo. And then guess what? They got sucked up by a wormhole. They're 5,000 light years away from home. So, you know, that fucking sucks for them. And the big question is, what the fuck even was that? What the fuck was that wormhole shit? Where the fuck are we? Where the fuck is home? How the fuck we gonna get back there? It opens up, it's a longer first episode, a 48-minute runtime. So you get a good bit of buildup of just setting up these characters in their pre-preparation to go to outer space. And they get dropped off a little bit before the halfway mark. And then by the halfway mark, boom, shit has hit the fan. They're all floating in the fucking bounds of space, thinking, oh shit, this is the end for me. I'm fucked. But luckily enough, they find a spaceship. Most of them have enough jet stuff and have the communication to get their asses in there, and by the end of the episode you pretty much come to the part of, oh, we have a way, we can possibly survive this. It'll be rough, there will be a bunch of shit we have to do, we'll have to do a bit of planet hopping, but everyone's still alive, still good thus far. But there's a lot of questions of how that even happened, and a little bit of some mystery with them learning. A slight spoiler, but this is fucking a drop in the bucket compared to most of the show, that someone had cut the communications on the ship. So someone among them is Amoungly sus. Fucking hit that emergency meeting button. Someone needs to get fucking kicked out. So that is the general premise of what the fuck's happening. You can see at least why I clickbait Amoung Us, especially since I have the advantage of talking about this show while it's irrelevant, like 5 years after its release. But I feel this show has a lot of amazing qualities. Some of the great elements is, of course, the characters. It is a ensemble cast, literally 9 fucking people thrown into outer space. They have a lot of nothingness and themselves, so of course the characters have to carry the show and the whole dynamic. They all have a interesting element to the group, and you will learn particularly more about certain characters after time. There's an overlying element connecting them all. There's a reason why they are all out. Event happened to them, so you're going upon the mystery of how they are actually connected. And at points it can get that really homey vibe that they're actually close. It's able to easily perpetuate the elements that they've been stuck in space for a good fucking while, living with each other, and they've actually become kind of homies. But then it's also great with the mystery. There is a fuck ton. It has sci-fi elements to its mystery that comes up, and it has historical elements. I was not expecting that one. I was not expecting them to whip out the fucking history. If you didn't pay attention in your high school history classes, you might want to brush up so you aren't confused when they start connecting the lore that they made up for this anime and tying it in with what happened actually in real life. And it's done very well. It plays very well off of history and is able to bring up a topic of how us humans act. It's one of the big keys to the mystery. That's all I'll say. This is a huge anime where you have to dodge spoilers left and right because practically every episode is throwing some crazy shit at you. Is able to go into deep elements, is able to perpetuate existentialism in many different forms of how humans act with it. Of course, all the characters are thrown out into space. They're accepting the fact that they might be completely forgotten from society, with the whole thing that the wormhole was probably forced on them. It was probably something somebody planned. A collective of people likely don't want us in this fucking world, so they ejected our asses out into space. They hit the emergency meeting button and voted our asses out. You have the cryogenically frozen person who comes up later, and you get the whole existential feeling of like, this is a gamble to cryogenically freeze yourself. This person did it. They're in outer space and they didn't know if anyone would come to their rescue, but they decide, instead of, I guess, generally quick death, they would prolong their life and accept being completely distant from everybody else if they ever become reconnected. There's many deep things, deep questions that are brought up to us audience members through the show that's overall, you know, pretty chill, kind of laid back and fun for a good amount of it. Again, a lot of the driving force for this show, especially at the start, their character interactions, how they interact with each other, what is their backstory like. The mysteries really get heavier and heavier by the midpoint, and you get the release towards those very end episodes. I think this anime is really underlooked. I can't tell you too much and go into deep elements. There's other things that I would also really like to fucking praise about the show, but they're kind of behind a bit of a spoiler wall. Like, one example, not going to bring up the spoiler part, probably some of the best like LGBT like character representation within a series. There is a character that is that. It isn't like just thrown out quick and presently, but it is very relevant to the story, and by the story, I mean the spoiler story. There's a conflict element in the midpoint, and is quite profound how it's used. And then you get and see the character actually act more like themselves after being able to come out in front of the group and stuff. So like, it was able to do that very fucking well, which honestly, I'm going to say anime can sometimes suck with that type of shit, and this is able to actually have it story relevant and make it a part of their character interaction, because it shifts the dynamic within the ship itself. This anime does many things super well, and it was one of the few anime that I had binged in a long while. It would have been over 6 months since I had sat down and said, I'm going to watch this thing front to end. I didn't think it was going to be that time. I was like, I just want a mystery thing. I was just locked in by that first episode. I'm like, damn, this is pretty fucking good. And it just grew. I'm like, damn, this is really fucking good. And by the end, I'm like, holy shit, that was fucking amazing. Why does nobody talk about this show? And now we'll be asking, why the fuck does this one guy talk about this show? So that was Astra Lost in Space. That is it for this video. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you liked and enjoyed. By the way, it's been a while since I've uploaded. I think over 10 to 11 months, depending on when this video comes out. Sorry about that. Have been very busy, but you know, what every good person does. I came back with the milk. Shit.